Hey guys, welcome back once again here. I am Andy McCann, owner of CrossFit Garage, and here to lead you along in a conversation with Kate Decker. Here at CrossFit Garage and on this podcast, we want to help you build a firm foundation in fitness, food, and finances. So we're going to go down her journey, and we're going to learn a lot, and I think you're going to find, ladies of Woodstock, you're going to find that you and Kate are a lot alike, and she can offer you wisdom as well as a place to potentially get some fitness on. All right, so Kate, welcome to the show, the episode. I don't know. Yeah. So we just did. What was our exercise? What did we just do? We just worked out.
Rowing.
What?
Rowing.
Yeah. We did the rowing. So how did you do on the row?
I don't know.
Did you count the meters totaled up?
I did. I can't remember what I had.
Yeah. I told Jeff whatever. I looked at his score and I said I did one more than you. And he's like, of course you did. How'd the back squat go?
That was hard just because it was every minute.
It was fast.
Yeah.
So I didn't change the weight for the first 6 just to like catch myself.
I didn't change it for like the last 6.
Yeah. Well, I got to the 6 and then I went up a little bit. So I got to 185 and then I started taking the weights off. I'm like, that's good. I'm stretchy. But so I like to lift after doing like a workout like that. I feel so much better, but it could be because I'm 50. I don't know. How do you feel? Do you like to lift solely alone or do you like to mix them together?
I think I like to lift before.
Yeah.
And with more time in between.
Yeah, the time in between. So that's the weird thing about CrossFit. And the interesting thing, you never know what you're going to get. And it's just a different way to lift. So in this case, it's time under tension. We just spent some time lifting. And I lifted super slow. So you were fast.
Saw you.
Yeah. I was like, I don't know. We had 60. So basically, we had 60 seconds to do 2 reps. And I think I took like 45 seconds. But I didn't change the weight, so it was kind of cheating. Okay, so of course Kate is here at the garage with us, and I'm going to share an interesting story, and then you can like throw stuff in here. So your husband is going here. We have Bring a Friend, and you step into the gym. I didn't actually know y'all were husband and wife. I should have asked. I just said, oh, it's Kate. Hi, Kate. I'm Andy, right? I didn't ask last names, but not that matters. But you spent like I think you came every day of the week, and then the last day I said, hey, whatever you're doing is awesome. I don't really think you need to do what we're doing. You're fit, you're moving, your range of motion is awesome. You can squat better than most everybody else. I love whatever it is you're doing great. I loved you here, but I don't think you really need this. And the next thing I knew, you signed up. I was like, that is so weird. I wasn't trying to tell you not to come. I was just saying, whatever you're doing is great, keep it up. So what was that experience too? So you come to Bring a Friend, and like, I guess Matt had been here for probably like 3 or 4 years, and he got everybody else from either Jubilee Church and also the office to come in. So what made you decide, okay, I'll finally come in and check this out?
Okay, so when we lived in Florida, I tried something like CrossFit, and I was like, okay, that was fun, but like I can't do it all the time, and I was mostly just running at that point. And so I put CrossFit in like this box of like, it's just for Matt and it's not for me. And even though I had kind of tried, it wasn't CrossFit, like, I don't know, the brand. It was called something else, like Trinity Fitness.
Sure. A lot of people take the constantly varied functional movements and just rebrand it as something else.
Yeah.
And that's totally fine. There's more to CrossFit. So I guess those who are thinking, what is CrossFit? What do you do? There is a methodology to it and a mindset, which also wraps in like nutrition and other things. So it can be big or it can just be a sweaty place. But my brother, he does stuff at home. And I'm like, sure, it can be CrossFit if you're changing it up. If you're doing the same thing, like running 10 miles every day for a year is not CrossFit. That is single fit or mono fit or something. So you were down in Florida. What brought you guys up here to Georgia?
Well, okay, so Matt and I grew up in Illinois.
Oh.
So we were mostly there, but it was cold and we didn't like it. And we wanted to live in the South. And so Matt applied in Georgia and in Illinois. And I guess I did too. I was kind of like, I don't really want to work. I just want to skip ahead and just be a stay-at-home mom, even though we didn't even have kids yet. Like, that's enough. Anyways, Matt ended up getting a job here, and we moved, I don't know when that was, 2011?
Okay.
And then we had 2 of our kids, and then we moved to Florida for like 3 years, which is kind of like a long vacation, because then we came back here to Woodstock. We like it here. This is where like a lot of our friends are, and we're going to stay here now.
Yeah. Well, y'all have plans to, I didn't realize so I knew Matt from the gym, just like, well, he worked out at a different time than me, so it was more just a high five as we go back and forth. But now there's so many of y'all's friends here that I'm getting to experience more of you guys, and I love the group. I love the crowd. So what did you? He ended up getting. Was it working with Aaron first, partnering up with him up here, or did he have another job to bring him?
It was a different job, but it was with Aaron.
Oh,
That's
okay.
how he met Aaron. It was called Game Plan. It was.
That sounds like more football.
It was still insurance like they're doing, I think, but like it had like a theme to it.
Okay.
They did play sports together there. It was cool, yeah.
That is very interesting.
But yeah, it wasn't his own thing. He wanted to have more freedom and do his own thing, and now him and Aaron are living the dream.
Right. So I keep asking him to do a podcast with me because I'm curious how he ended up finding CrossFit, and he's like, no. Although you have, so for any of you members listening, you're like, hey, when is Andy going to say, hey, come on the show? If you want to come on the show, the episode, whatever this is, my notes must be off because I was texting with you the other night. I was like, yeah, and if you change your mind about doing a podcast, and you're like, no, I totally want to do it. I'm like, did I write my little handwritten notes in the wrong place? So I may be off. If you guys want to come talk and share your story, I would love to have you. But okay, so then you're here in Woodstock. You're doing some fitness. We do a bring a friend. And so it is super hard for husbands to motivate their wives to come to the same place to work out. Because like my Verity and I worked out together. She's like, stop coaching me. I'm like, you got it. Because I am like making you so mad. So how did he convince you to come in, or why did you decide to come in and try that bring a friend?
Okay, so I was mostly running for a long time. I ran like 3 half marathons. And then I was like, I need to do something else. And I started doing an online program that was like kind of bodybuilding like. And that was good just to switch it up and to kind of get strong, but I wasn't really.
So you came in pretty strong. Not only that, so the thing that impressed me when you were moving, I was like, dang, she can squat super low with great form. And like, I would say 99% of the people who walk in the door, I'm just, hey, squat for me. And it's like toes and knees are all over the place. You drop down with weight. I'm like, I remember asking Jamie, does this girl, does she already do CrossFit or something? She's like, no, that's Matt's wife. I'm like, oh, well. So how did you get did you practice form? Did you do gymnastics growing up, or just comes natural to you to squat really well?
Okay, so after I did the bodybuilding thing, I did another coach, an online one, and it was running, and
running. I love the running theme. And that's is that a fun or of no?
It just got a little too much.
Yeah.
I went too much with it. But then after that, I found another online coach, and it was functional fitness. It was with the barbell, and it was mostly like CrossFit, but it was by myself.
Yeah.
I had that coach, and she was really great, but I was so bored, very lonely. It was me going to the gym by myself. And not in your garage, CrossFit garage. I know it can be confusing. So not in your garage, but actually at like a global gym or something doing your own thing. Yeah, it was like at Gold's Gym.
Yeah.
And I did get a little stronger, and I figured out like how to deadlift or how to squat.
So you basically were self-taught. Did you video yourself and send it to the online? Okay, so at least they did.
Yeah.
So I have mentioned that to people. They're like, I don't have a gym like this back home. I'm like, hey, I will help you. You can send me a video and I'll look at it. But really, you can also compare against like YouTube. Just put your camera or your phone next to it and watch them and watch yourself. But to have those eyes on you, right? That's awesome. So
I have so
kudos
many.
to that coach, because you came in with great movement. Not just a squat, but that's an easy one to pick apart. It's such a hard movement to do with weight correctly and deep. And so anyway, keep going. Yeah. So
I have so many videos that I sent her of me almost doing a pull-up.
Oh,
I can't quite get my chin above the bar. So many, like more than 20, more than 30.
Right.
It was very
So
sad.
I saw this summer you got that.
And I finally can do a pull-up now. So that was a big win that I got from that video.
Okay, so then you had that coach. So then he said, hey, come to the gym.
Oh, yeah. So
we
I had
do this
that
crazy thing, and it's bring a friend. So you're my friend.
All right, so before I would go with Matt, I wanted him to come try a workout with me. It's called Future app. come do a future app workout with me. And he was
I'm
like,
gonna
yeah,
look that
that
up.
was really hard. That was a lot of weight. It was really long. You can totally do CrossFit.
Okay.
And so I was like, okay, I'm still
I see what you're saying. So basically, come see if I can do this.
Right.
No. So that happens a lot. Like I'll tell people, come do an adventure race. Like Randy did one with me. He's like, I don't know if I can make it. I'm like, you literally do the same training I do. If I can do it, you can do it. We're just doing the exact same thing. So that's awesome. So that is great advice. Come, like, check out what I do, and does it mix up? So he says yes, and you're like, all right.
So then I was still so nervous because I knew that the people that he worked out with were like all of my friends, but they were men, and I had never worked out with them before. I didn't really talk to them much at all either, even though they're like my friends.
Right.
So
It's in context, right? You talk to him when he's there and he's talking to him. But now you're in a gym environment
we're
where
sweating together, we're squatting together.
Which can be interesting because if you go to like Lifetime or Globo or whatever, the big gyms, you typically don't talk to people.
True.
Which is super weird. You're like, don't talk to me. Don't share my gear. I'm married or whatever. Stay away, right? So it is a weird thing. Like in here, community is big, but in the other gyms, don't talk to me. Right. So now we're going to be creating community. Okay, so you're thinking, I'm now going to work out with these people.
Right. And I already knew Jonathan Cruzado too.
Oh, yeah. He's super buff.
He was teaching one of my sons Choi Kwon-do. So I walked in knowing everybody. And it was cool though. Like I loved it. I was so sick of doing it by myself and being bored. So this was like checking all my boxes for me.
Right.
I loved it.
So that is huge. So the thing that you'd said that I wrote down by myself. So I am an introvert by nature. And I try really hard to, I try really hard not to be, but I did years of sales and years of books on tape to, like, my backup mode is funny. So I'm like, okay, if I'm nervous, I can try to be funny. But so I'm okay working out by myself, but then somewhere along the line, a switch got flipped. I have all of this gear at home because I own the gym, and whenever stuff breaks or whatever, I just take it home and I'll just like fix it whenever. And I just don't work out at home. I will come into the gym and just row if I'm feeling off, right? Rather than like do it at home. It's so weird. Working out with people is a box to check that I didn't know was like, it brings back like the team atmosphere of like playing sports growing up or something.
Well, I never did that.
Oh,
so
you
this
didn't?
is like my first sport.
Oh, nice.
that I've ever done.
Well, you would have crushed it. You've got good athletic ability.
I was in marching band, and it was...
That's a sport.
It
really
was
hard.
a little athletic, but I didn't get to feel strong and capable.
I have Brad McDonald, was a member here. He's coming back, but his son did marching band at River Ridge. And the amount of like practice that they would do, I'm like, that's insane. I think they practice more than the football team.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, so it's maybe a lot of stamina, and maybe unless you're carrying the, what's the big instrument?
Tuba.
Yeah, tuba or the drums or something, then you get some strength in there. So is there a difference then now? Do you see that? Like, if you have a chance to work out by yourself or coming to the gym?
I'd much rather come into the gym.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how would you tell somebody else? So there is somebody like you who is thinking, well, I like to work out by myself, but maybe they don't know. What's some way they could, I guess they could just come in, but what's something you would tell them, like advice you'd give them to like try it out or test it out or something for them?
I don't know. Like, I just like that it's different. I don't get to pick because I got to pick too much.
Yeah.
And so it's been so good for me to try a lot of different things and figure out like, how, like, can I do it, or like to what degree, and then to build upon that versus like, I can't do it, I'm not going to try it, and I'm just going to keep running.
Right. So I guess that would be the thing. If you feel like you're stuck in your own like habit circle and you're like, I can't break out, then this is a good way to break out. Let someone else. And I agree with you. I love the fact that I literally get to walk in. I didn't even know what the workout was today. And they're like, jump on a rower. I'm like, perfect. Is that what I'm doing today? Rowing and back squats. Got it, right? It's constantly varied functional movements executed at high intensity. And what is high intensity? It's whatever you've got today. I think I did much better intensity on the rower than I did on the back squat. But that's fine. So you said you ran 3 half marathons? Mm-hmm. Dang.
Okay, so the first one I wasn't really trained for. I just kind of threw myself at something.
I love that. It was like, how did that work out? So that's my favorite. Pick a goal and just let's go and do it and see what happens. Yeah. But no, it didn't go well?
No, it was so bad. Like, I wasn't ready for it at all. Like, I had run 9 miles one time, and it was really a stretch for me. And I think it was my first year teaching too, so I didn't devote a lot of time to it. It was kind of like something I did to, not to punish myself, but like it
Right.
wasn't to build myself up.
Right.
And so,
And we talked about this. So this, I mess myself up sometimes. We'll have conversations before we have this talk. You and I had a great conversation in the gym about this. These goals we pick, and why did we pick them? Right? I don't know. Yeah. So I'm gonna tell a story, and then I'm gonna go down your 120 pounds why. Right? So Levi comes home and he's like, Dad, I'm chasing and I'm going after. I'm gonna make this up because I don't remember the exact number. It was like they call it a 300-pound back squat. It couldn't have been that. Maybe it was a 200-pound back squat because he's not that big yet. Buddy, if you're listening to this, I'm sorry. Maybe it's 300. But so he picked a number 200, right? And I'm like, why 200? In pounds, it's got a 2. 2s are great, I guess. And zeros, those are nice. So it's a nice even number. I'm like, did you know in Europe they do kilograms? And 200 pounds means nothing to them. And 200 kilograms is a lot of weight. So we randomly pick numbers and goals that don't necessarily mean anything.
right.
Yeah. So you had an interesting one. So I did stalk you on Facebook. I went back and looked around, and you said I picked 120. Why? I was like, oh, I love this. So tell me about that. You picked a weight at one point, and you're just like, I don't know. I just randomly picked these goals.
Yeah, my body wanted to be like 20 pounds heavier than that, I feel like. But I think I Googled at one point, like, if I'm this tall, how much should I weigh?
Right.
And I think it said if I'm 5'4", I should weigh 120. So I'm like, oh, gosh.
That's what I'm going to go for.
Yeah.
No other context.
Yeah.
And people do this all the time. I do it still. And like these goals that we come up with, I think the worst is then we were talking about that we punish ourselves over these goals that may not actually even be realistically attainable.
Yeah. And on the reverse, I had the goal of 200-pound deadlift, and I got it. So now what?
Yeah. Did you? So I chased a 400-pound deadlift. Why? I don't know. 4 is a great number. 2 plus 2 is 4. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 squared is 4. 4 is a great number. And the day I got it, it was the ugliest deadlift I had ever done, and my back has never been the same.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So this is why I roll out with the PVC pipe every day to like help my.
Because you did it.
Yeah. That was it was 20. So that was like 2010.
Oh my.
Yeah, and I now do not deadlift very heavy. I think my back is probably okay, but chasing a number for a number's sake. I'm a 165-pound, 5'8" guy. Should I be lifting 400 pounds? I mean, I could, but I chased it. I went way too fast.
Yeah.
And that was bad. So I think at the time, CrossFit was brand new. We had just started into it, and it was back in the day. Like some people say, wait, isn't CrossFit crazy? Yes. In 2010, it was crazy. We'd be like, Kate, come on over here, do a muscle up and do a 400-pound deadlift, and then throw up in the corner, and that's what you do. Yeah, so we pushed each other, me and the other 3 owners, to do a lot of stupid things, like hold my beer, let's do it. It really wasn't like we doubled down now into coaching, mentoring, and accountability. We will tell people back off on the weight, where before we would have said, yeah, throw some more weight on there, let's see what happens. Bad idea. So watch out for your doing it on your own or finding a bad CrossFit environment or something. What other goals did you have that you feel like I just sort of randomly set them and I chased them down with no expectation?
Okay, so during COVID in 2020.
Oh, this is a good one. Yeah, you mentioned this.
When we did the lockdown, I was like, okay, this is my chance. I'm going to reach all my goals now because I'm not going to have any social gatherings where I'm going to eat all the food and there are going to be no distractions. I'm just going to go straight for my goals. Yeah. And I feel like I spent like that whole year on the treadmill and I was running slowly, sometimes faster, sometimes slower, watching Netflix, just trying to rack up more miles and eat less and less. And I got to the point where I was trying to run 10 miles a day and eat 1,000 calories a day and see how long I could do that before I would like blow up and need to eat more and like not run. And then, so I would do that. I'd like lick my wounds and then I'd like go at it again and try to do it. And then I did that, I don't know, like it was like 30 days of doing that and like burning out. And then I realized like I need to do something else. It's not working.
So I want to back up there and just highlight this is an incredible feat. Talk about like 75 hard. This is really hard. You did 10 miles a day and 1,000 calories. I'm like, I would fall apart. Like right now I'm logging my food because Levi said, Dad, log your food with me because I want a friend to do it with or something. I'm like, sure, whatever. I hate logging, but I've even learned stuff. I have it pretty dialed in and I'm trying to eat. It wants me to eat 2,200 calories. And so I literally now can imagine what 1,000, like my breakfast is almost 1,000 calories. So you would eat barely my breakfast and then do 10 miles of jogging. And so what did you tell me? You said my coping mechanism for being tired was to...
Oh, I would just go to sleep. I would sleep most of the day. I would either be eating or sleeping or running, or like running while I'm eating.
Which that right there I love. I love the idea of, can I be more efficient? Can I eat while run? I'm always looking at ways to hack my life. And some of the hacks we find, like, yes, you can, but then your family needs you. Guess what? I'm asleep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had like my water and I had like tortilla wraps. I don't know why, but it became I was eating tortilla wraps while I was running. And with tracking food, like that was another whole thing too.
Yeah.
I did keto for 4 months and I got really dialed in with the tracking because I had to know, like, does it have carbs? If it has any carbs at all, I can't have it. So I'm looking at all the labels, I'm tracking all the things, and then I went away from keto. But yeah, that's how I got really good at tracking, and that's how I got to the 1,000 calories.
Wow.
And the
Yeah, did you see the, I posted the first week of tracking with Levi, and like, I knew this would be the case, like 65% of my food is fat.
That's crazy. So are you eating like butter?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
So somebody called me out. They're like, what are you eating for fat? I'm like, well, it's like peanut butter and Kerrygold butter. So I'm literally eating like butter as like in my coffee is butter.
I did that too.
Yeah.
Butter in the coffee.
No, I don't do it for keto's sake. I do it. So mine was a challenge went out. Me and my wife were like, hey, we should try to not eat sugar. And that's where it all started. And I just went down this road of what does it mean to not eat sugar? And I found that my delivery vehicle, I could only really stop eating sugar if I took away my grains, because pancakes and syrup go together, right? I just couldn't eat breads and get rid of the sweet tooth, which we use bread bakers. We make our own bread. And I still make it for my kids. I actually did eat a slice the other day to see what would happen. And my brain was like on fire. It was like, give me a Sudoku puzzle. I can just crush this real quick. Wow. Yeah. So I'm not intentionally keto, but I think that's probably the track I'm on.
Yeah.
It's more
keto.
I like meats and vegetables are fine. And it's been enough time that fruits and other things are too sweet. So I'm super carb less by accident, really. So what kind of eating are you looking at now?
Trying to get a ton of protein, but also a ton of carbs. I'm trying to get a lot of calories, I feel like, in general, but try to make like the healthiest choice that I can.
What do you do for protein in the morning?
What do I do?
Raw egg?
Oh my gosh. So for the longest time, I ate oatmeal with egg whites mixed in and berries and nut butter.
That's a good way to throw it in there.
Yeah. I did it too much, though. I can't do it anymore.
You get food burnout?
Yeah, a little bit. I would just pick meals that sounded good, and I would just eat them until I couldn't anymore.
So I do like that idea of, decision fatigue. We have to make too many choices in our day, and then so my breakfast for almost the last 11 years has been the same smoothie, and it works, and there's 2 eggs in it, and the only thing I've really changed is we now have our own chickens that make our own eggs, but for whatever reason, they're not laying many eggs. I think either I don't know what it is. It's probably the predators scare them. I don't know, but we get like 2 eggs a day, and that's what I use. And I'm like, what is up? We've got like 30 chickens out there. Of course, most of them are roosters. And my Great Pyrenees caught a rooster. He jumped the fence. He's like, look what I got. And you could see he was all happy, but he squeezed a little too hard, so the chicken was not. Yeah, so I processed it, and he gets to eat it now. So he's like, Dad, look at this. I got your chicken. And anyway, so we have too many roosters, but maybe that's the problem is they're messing with the chicks. But anyway, protein in the morning, I think, is the way to go. If you start getting your protein in the morning, it's easier to play the game. But if you're trying to do catch up with protein, not the sauce catch up, but trying to catch up in the day with your protein, it's hard to find ways to add it back in.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So what are you doing now for breakfast?
I don't really eat breakfast.
Which is fine. That's another good one. So I love this. Try stuff. So they talk about increasing your fasting time, right? Why not?
Yeah.
And then see how you feel. I think this is great. Try things, but don't be so like indoctrinated in it that you're not willing. This is probably one of the things I love about our community. Everybody's trying different things. So you have people doing cupping, dry needling, cold plunge, which we're going to talk about that too. They try a lot of stuff, and you get to hear and say, well, how does it work? What does it feel like? So what is your fast times?
I mean, I don't try to fast. I just have a hard time if I eat before I do CrossFit. Like, I feel like I'm still digesting it.
Yeah.
When I'm trying to run or...
No, that's true. It can be like that. And do you ever feel like I'm just too tired today? Or is that where coffee comes in?
I had to stop drinking coffee.
Oh, yeah? Tell me about that.
I haven't had it for a few months.
Good for you.
Yeah, I for the longest time, I just did 1 cup. But then it got to the point where I would just take a sip and I'd like have to go to the bathroom and like be in the bathroom all morning. And so I cut out the coffee and it's better.
Do you do any tea or anything?
Not really.
Good.
Matt replaced it with tea.
Coffee is off or caffeine is off the menu?
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah, I like that. So I have this feeling, it's unfounded, it's not true, it's just me with a theory that for many people, coffee or caffeine will perk you up now, but it's taking from tomorrow. So if you play the game long enough, you're not just into tomorrow, you're into the next day, right? So it like takes a while to recover from the stimulant you're giving yourself. So I think it's going to burn something out. So
maybe.
Yeah, the bad habit I got into in COVID was coffee. I never drank coffee. And then all of a sudden,
so now you're on it.
Yeah, unfortunately. So for races, I get off of it and use the boost. But also figured out that I can drink coffee late at night, like 11 o'clock, and then go straight to bed.
Oh, my.
So they said that's something to do with being like either ADHD or something. Like it smooths you out rather than accelerates you.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, oh, well, there's more problems that I have to deal with. Yeah.
Interesting.
So what's your drink of choice then? Is straight water or?
Water. I do Unbroken in my water, which is a supplement, and a lot of the CrossFitters do it.
Unbroken. I'm going to look that up.
I try a lot of the supplements that Instagram serves up and tells me to try.
Yeah.
But a lot of them have been good. So
yeah. Have you tried that Element? It's LMNT.
I haven't tried that one yet. No.
So I've heard a lot of interesting ones about that. It's the least amount of preservatives, and so it's all individually wrapped ones. But I think it's mostly like a salt type of thing.
Electrolytes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have electrolytes in a lot of the stuff that I do, but maybe one day I'll try it.
Yeah.
I like to try
Do you give them like a 30-day go and then see how you feel, or is it?
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah.
But then usually I end up taking it on, and then I have too much stuff, and then I take things away.
Yeah. I did, so yes, that's me too. I'll dive in and then 30 days into it, I'm like, I don't want to do that anymore. And then I got all this product, like, what do I do with it? We bought, one of our kids really loved this plant fusion protein. So we're like, oh, well, it's on sale, we'll buy a bunch of it. And then like the next day, he's like, I'm tired of it. I'm like, I have like a box of this junk. I don't even eat that. Yeah. We do a lot of adventure races. And so when we'll show up, people will come up with these like different packets of whatever, like try our packet. You know what you should never do before a marathon or a 24-hour race is try something brand new. Because you will spend time in the woods not running, sitting. And you're like, why did I eat something that I've never... So be careful when you're out there trying stuff. Make sure it agrees with you before you go and do anything.
Totally.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so you had some interesting things here. I did stalk you for a bit. So I love the 10 miles and 1,000 calories in the sense that I love it that you said, I will try it. It's not for me.
Just gotta try it.
Yeah, and it was not for you. I don't know if I would recommend that to anybody, but I mean, I love the idea of 75 hard, that thing people talk. I hate, it's never going to work. Doing 75 hard thing or that many hard things for 75 days, I think 35 easy would be the better way to start. Slow and steady, right? But try it. Why not? See what goes on. So you did your online coaching. I love this one. You felt lost at the gym.
Oh, yeah. So before I did the online coaching, I had no idea what I was doing at the gym. So it was really hard for me to be consistent. But wherever we moved, I would join the gym. I felt like it was my duty. I had to join.
Your duty. I love that.
Yeah. And then I would beat myself up, like, why aren't I going to the gym more? But even when I went, I wasn't doing anything. I was like walking on the treadmill, like walking around, confused, copying people. I don't know.
And so Levi is doing hypertrophy work. And so CrossFit's not for him. He wants to be the teenage boy who gets big. So I'm like, look, you got to eat more protein and you got to go like do a hypertrophy at a Globo Gym because you're not going to really do it here. So he's at One Life with his buddies, which is great. And they're all flexing in the mirrors and taking selfies. And he tells me stories about people doing exactly what you're talking about. Dad, they have no idea what they're doing. It says it on the little sign. You could just read it and then do it. But they like come up with positions that don't even make sense. Like how'd they get themselves trapped in this machine to squeeze or whatever? I think maybe that's another point that we should always say in here. So when someone walks into a CrossFit gym and you have like it's an open box. It's like literally there's nothing on the floor. And then all of a sudden we take out gear and we build something. And then the coach tells you like, this is what we're doing when we practice stuff. So you get to learn like, oh, that's how my body moves. Yeah. So that's probably a huge change. Yeah. So what was that to you when you started here either on Bring a Friend or later or after that, having a coach guide you? What did you think about that? Was it like, oh no, this is not going to work? Or did you think, oh, this is actually interesting? I mean, I guess you had an online coach, so it's not too different.
I had an online coach. I really liked it because I felt kind of removed from a lot of the things. Like I didn't feel like, oh, I'm not good at it, so I feel bad about myself. Like, I know I'm not going to be good at it, so here it is.
Right.
And then I was actually surprised that I could learn a lot of things and get better at them. So it's been really good for me, like having a coach, just eyes on me, telling me like, this is how you actually do it. You're not doing it yet. That's okay. I don't know.
Well, and you take, so in a good way and a bad way, I'm sorry for this. I think I had said at one point, hey, just come to the gym every day. And you're like, I'm going to come to the gym every day. What I meant to say, I should watch my words. Hey, 4 or 5 days a week is great. And some of those days like today, or I actually went okay today. The other day was a move day. I'm like, I'm here, but I'm just going to kind of like participate. So you got to monitor your body really well. But the thing I think that you do really well is like, you had asked, hey, I would like better double unders. I'm like, great, do you practice them? And you're like, well, no. Like, well, let's do that first. And I see you practicing them. And the other day, you were doing them while the other class is going on. I hear your rope going, whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. I'm like, wait a minute, who's doing, oh, look at that, look at you go. And you're just like focused. I'm like, that's how you do it. You ask for advice, you listen, you go and you do, and then you practice. And so we make a joke with, Joe and Sharon. They're like, oh, it's just Joe and Sharon. You know, of course they're really good at everything. They're really good at everything is because, I mean, they've been coming to the gym for 10 years, very consistently, right? They put a lot of effort. So it's not an accident that they do so well and they practice things. So you'll find that same sort of thing is the more I come in, the more I practice my weaknesses, they level up. Yeah. So anyway, it's just it's interesting to watch you, and Rebecca does the same thing. Y'all have like we'll jump rope together. Is that the...
So how'd you stretch, and then we'll jump rope. And sometimes I'll work on some other stuff too, like pull-up stuff or
you know,
going upside down.
When she came into the gym, she said, is this going to mess my 5K time up? And I'm like, no. You're probably going to end up being faster. She's like, I doubt it. She's been here for like 8 years now. I'm like, how's your 5K time? She said, yeah, it's pretty good. Okay, so... let's see. So you did experience burnout here at the gym too.
Oh yeah,
so this is a good one. Yeah.
I want to talk about coming every day.
Yeah.
So it was like the first day I came, I saw a video, like right after the Bring a Friend, of you saying, "Just come every day. That's the secret. Like you don't have to lift really heavy or like do a huge thing. You just come. You show up every day." And I was like, "Oh, okay. I can do that. I can show
But you
up
literally came 7 days a week. You were coming a lot. And that is probably, I should watch my words. But yeah, that's awesome. That's my fault.
I was like, oh, I just have to drive myself there and walk in. I can do that. And I didn't come on the weekends, but I would do stuff on the weekends. But I wouldn't come here. But just coming 5 days a week was really challenging. But it was kind of like that half marathon where I just threw myself at it. I'm like, this is going to be hard and it's going to be ugly, but I'm going to do it. And I thought I was just going to, throw myself at it and then fail and then walk away like, oh man, that was crazy. Or I tried CrossFit. That was fun, but not for me. And then I actually was able to stick with it and keep showing up. And there were days where I was so sore and I was so tired and I was like, I shouldn't come, but I came anyways. And then there were days where I was sick and so it wasn't like I went every day, but I went pretty much every day.
And you give it all. You're all. So I would back up. So CrossFit used to say, this is my tangents interjecting in your story.
No.
So it's constantly varied functional movements executed at high intensity. So where he left off was, and this is an experiment on intensity. We're not entirely sure how to moderate this yet. So now 25 years into it, or however long it's been, we're pretty sure how to modulate it. You cannot come to the gym 5 days a week and literally go 110% or whatever every day. You will burn out and crash, right?
Totally.
So there are like days where it's, hey, today's a move day, or as Paul says, it's gentleman's CrossFit.
I call it an audit day. I'm just auditing the
There
class.
you go. Oh, I love that.
Not for a grade. I'm just here.
Yeah.
I'm in the back learning some things, and don't even mind me. I'm gone.
And it can be perfect. Like there are some things that are harder to do. Like the other day we did, I think it was hang power snatches. So I changed it to, because I wasn't feeling it, I did hang squat snatches, which means I can't go that heavy. There's no way I can lift as much in a power and a snatch. I just don't have the right form for it. So I practiced the form at a much lighter weight.
There you go.
Yeah, whatever. I'm just auditing. I'm increasing my abilities, and that, right? And there are some days like you with the jump rope or the pull-ups, I'll be like, you know what? I'm just going to edit this movement because I want to practice this anyway. And so I get my practice inside of the workout. I love that, audit day. I'm going to probably steal that. You're going to be hearing that more often. So how does that work out? How do you decide today's audit day?
Well, I have the Whoop, so that really helps me. It gives me a number of what is my recovery, and mine was 95 today, so I'm feeling great.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm just gonna.
So does it ever give you a number then that is not equivalent to like, oh, I feel great, but it tells you 12%?
Sometimes, but normally it's how I feel.
Pretty close.
Yeah.
Do you use, so you're using the data to at least give you an indicator in the gym, or maybe I need to sleep more, or how else do you use the numbers from Whoop?
Well, I do a lot of recovery modalities, so I'm like, sometimes I think, I need to get in the sauna today if my recovery was bad. Or
we didn't talk about that yet, yeah.
Maybe I need to go for a light jog and like get some lactic acid out. I don't know.
Yeah, so you actually look at the numbers and then utilize it. Many people, this is the problem I have with the too much data. They're like, whatever, right? They have the opportunity to look and then they just don't even look. Like, it says my sleep is off. I'm like, great, what are you doing to change that?
Right.
Nothing.
Right.
You're like, well, why?
I'm going to not have the Whoop anymore.
Right. Why have the number if you're not going to look? Do something. So I'm not against technology and like devices and whatever, but I am against the ignorance of using it. Like, if you got the option and you can see it, then come up with a plan. And the great thing is, like, especially like here at a CrossFit gym, you're like, hey, it says in here that I'm not sleeping well. Do you have any advice? I bet you could ask the coaches and they would all give you the same like top 3 things you could do for sleep, right? Now you may need to do something more, but at least you have the information and then a trusted source, right? I guess you could Google it too. So you guys, total tangent here. You have a sauna and a cold plunge. Yeah, tell me about those. Which ones did you pick and what is the protocol behind them?
Okay. The sauna is from Costco.
Oh, I love it. Everything from Costco is my fave.
I don't know.
So if you guys don't have a Costco where you are, it's the wholesale discount place. We nearly buy everything from there now. If I need to get a TV or a couch or water bottles for the gym, they have everything.
So I think it's a 2 or 3 person sauna. I don't know. And we don't do it as frequently as cold plunge. Cold plunge we try to do every day.
Okay. And so when do you do cold plunge?
In the morning. You're supposed to do it before you work out.
Before coming in. So how do you get warm once you've gotten cold?
We have robes.
Okay. What about your, like, so this is selfish podcasting time. For me, my toes and my fingers get so cold.
Right.
Like when we go skiing, I am the guy who's like, circulation or something is wrong with me. And my toes and fingers start to go turn they go purpley and then white. Like there's no blood in them. So I'm a little nervous. I want to try the cold plunge because I've heard multiple times in under a week, I heard like 4 different sources to say it'll increase your testosterone if you do it this way. I'm like, all right, okay. No cold fingers, no cold hands?
You can keep your hands out
Oh, that's a
if
good
you
point.
want, but your feet do have to go in.
Okay.
But there
Is it a tub that you've got?
Yeah, it's like an upright tub. You
Oh.
you can get all the way under pretty easily.
So kind of like a deep freezer? Like
It's
one of
like
those...
you're sitting in a big fancy trash can.
Interesting.
water.
I like that. And where did you get this one? Costco as well?
No, it's by Nordic Wave.
Okay. I'm gonna go.
it
I will
online.
post it in the link because I actually want to look at this too.
Yeah.
So I have a pool and it's winter, so I'm
so
thinking that
you
I
could
might
use that.
just cold plunge in the pool, and I have a shower that's near the pool. Like I don't know why, but our house has a like the side bathroom by the kitchen also has a shower. I mean, I don't know how the guy we bought it from was like, all right, it's a
you
weird
got the
one,
setup.
but I could use it for that. Though I heard for testosterone, you want to do cold plunge 2 minutes and then get out and do some burpees. Like you want to exercise right away.
Okay.
I'm like, I don't know if I'd be into it. Like jump on a bike. I'm like, I would be dripping wet. I don't know.
Oh yeah, but you do feel good. Like when I get out, I feel like jumping around to get the water off me and just like get warm.
Right. So how long do you stay in?
3 minutes.
And so how did you come up with 3 minutes? Is this like tolerance I got there or somebody said 3 minutes?
I feel like somebody said 3 minutes at some point, and I've been doing cryotherapy in Town Lake, and they do 3 minutes.
So I like that. So hey, they have a number. You're like, I'll use it. Sometimes though we find out like, have you heard the old story like like the Christmas ham or whatever? The girl cuts off the last little bit and throws it away.
Yeah, it could be like that.
Yeah. So the story, if nobody's heard that, like the husband finally says, "Hey, why do you cut off the last little bit and throw it away?" She's like, "Well, that's what my mom did, so that's what we're supposed to do." And then the mom came over for Christmas or whatever, and they're like, "Hey, why did you cut the back end of the ham?" Well, that's what my grandma did or my mother did. And they asked that whatever, and they're like, "Well, our oven was really small; it wouldn't fit." And you're like, "Huh." So there's no real reason. We just, right? So 3 minutes, it's like, well, we do it at a business because we need to get you in and out, right? You don't know.
Right, yeah.
Now, if I remember right, the cryo one in Town Lake, they do like 160 degree or negative, super cold. I can't think of the, is it like a negative 100 or something? It's something crazy insane that you're in this cold air.
So the beginner is like negative 100 something, but then advanced is negative 225.
And it's just air, you're not water.
Just air.
Yeah.
And it's kind of smoky like it's kind of
course
hard
it
to
is.
see.
Because all the moisture is freezing.
And so the only weird thing about cryo, I think, is that the insides of your nose kind of stick together when you breathe.
Yeah.
And so you get this feeling of like, I can't breathe. But you're like, oh, I can because I can open my mouth.
I have a
I'm
mouth.
okay, yes.
Yeah.
So,
no, that would be like your nasal cavities moisture freezing together. Yeah, so you're getting to the point where it took us thousands of years to create hot water or create indoor plumbing. I love hot water. So, I don't know. So 3 minutes, and then you get out, and there's no exercise. I mean, you come to the gym, so you're just basically warming up naturally.
Yeah.
So they do say I guess, I don't know if it's the shivering or something, but they're like your metabolism spikes as well.
I think so, yeah. I've been like really craving carbs a lot. Yeah.
Interesting. Oh, that's going to be fascinating for me to figure out adding this new thing in.
So I've been eating a lot more carbs, but my weight stayed the same.
Yeah.
And I feel like I look a little different, but I don't know. It's hard to tell.
So so let me back up on that one too. So many people when they walk in, usually it's ladies, will say, my primary goal is to lose weight. For guys, it's like, I want to look like the high school kid again. You're like, okay, so you have different but it's usually some sort of weight driven. But it's not really weight. It's what does your body actually composition look like? Like, how do I fit in a dress? Or how do I whatever. Totally. So it's fascinating that you could do something like a cold plunge and it would affect your body in these ways. But that's what they're finding out. I mean, and who else to get in, start the cold plunge except us crazy people, right? So does Matt also go in for 3 minutes? Mm-hmm. I just feel like his personality is, no, I'm not doing 3 minutes in that stupid thing.
Well, we spent so much money.
There you go.
That he wants to do it.
Yeah, and that's a true one too. So we don't do a lot of free stuff because nobody values free stuff.
Right.
Yeah, and so there's a whole lesson to be learned there. People, if you've got a mentor, pay them and pay them a lot. If you have a friend that has a business, pay them. Don't ask for a discount. Pay them in full, and they're going to give you the full treatment. That's a good one. So if you buy a Nordic Wave, yeah. Mm-hmm. Actually, I think that's
then
the one.
Then you'll use it.
Yeah, you'll go use it. And I think that's the one that they were recommending on. Was it best? No. Chasing Excellence. Do you listen to that podcast with
I've
Ben
heard it
Bergeron?
before.
I think he has a Nordic Wave as well.
Oh,
So there must
nice.
be a thing about that one. So how long have you guys been doing the cold plunge?
I think it's been a little over 2 weeks, or maybe around 3.
Oh, this is brand new then.
Yeah, it's pretty new.
Yeah, very cool. So I will, when it gets colder, like when God turns down the temperature for
You'll do it
winter.
too?
So I need my pool to actually, I need the days to be about, what is it, like, what temperature do you use?
Right now we're at 44, but
Okay.
we're slowly inching it down.
Interesting. Okay, so they did say that, so I heard 55 is like the first point. No science on this. I'm just
I've
listening to
heard
the
that too.
podcast. And then somebody else said 45. And I'm like, I think 55 is very doable for me. 45 starts to get to
55 still felt cold.
Does it?
It did, yeah.
Do you feel a difference? Like obviously, well, not obviously. I feel like 32 is, I mean,
Ice.
water goes to ice, so there's probably something there. But maybe your body doesn't care. Maybe it's like,
Maybe,
Yeah.
if you slowly
I
adjust.
don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, cold water is cold water. I
Yeah.
don't want to get in. Yeah. Is there mornings that you're like, no, but you do it anyway?
Not really, not yet. But it does help that we have a little timer that's like the timer here.
Okay.
So it feels kind of like a Metcon,
3,
like
2, 1,
3,
go.
2, 1, get in the water
Yeah.
just for 3 minutes. It's not like, oh, I don't know how long I'm going to stay in.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to be really tough today. No, 3 minutes,
Yeah.
and then I get out.
Do you get to sit in or do you have to squat in it? Is
It
there a little
feels
bench
like-
chair there? You
No,
can-
it feels like you're sitting because the
Okay.
water kind of holds
Holds
you.
you up?
Yeah.
What about, and so do you keep your hands out of the water so they don't freeze, or you
I
bring
kind
them
of
in?
dip my wrist. One of my wrists is kind of bad, but yeah, it's really cold to put your hands in because you have like no fat.
No, nothing.
So-
Yeah. Well, I'll take a picture of it if I end up doing this. I'll put it on Insta, Face, whatever. But it's weird. Like it's usually my ring fingers turn white first, and I know I'm in trouble. Like we do when we go skiing. I have to watch for that. I can't wear gloves. I have to wear mittens because gloves, it's like whoosh, happens immediately.
Oh my.
So I guess I could do probably some sort of warm glove, I bet, for my hands, or just like you said, leave them
them
out.
out, yeah.
But if I'm doing it in a pool outside, it's probably also like 45.
Yeah.
It's cold outside
Yeah,
too.
that's true.
I don't know. I want the full effect. So do you ever dunk your head under?
I do it at the end
Yeah.
because I want the benefits, if there are any, for my head and for my face.
Right. So so then we start getting into the nuance of it. Is dunking your head for a second or 3 minutes, right? Like, am I getting a benefit? Where does...
Yeah, I don't know. And Aaron Flanagan from the gym told me to dunk my head at the beginning to make my whole body used to it, but I don't do that because I've dunked my head and then I'm like, I'm so cold, I really want to get out.
Right.
So I do it at
she's
the end.
doing, does she have a Nordic Wave also?
She doesn't, but she's done it before somehow. I
Yeah.
think she just filled up a tub with ice, which
Yeah.
we did that too before we bought it, just to make sure, like, do we like this? Can we do this? And actually, I felt like it was colder because it had ice.
Yeah.
It
Interesting. The
felt-
psychology of it was
It
like
felt colder, yeah.
fascinating. Well, I guess it has to be in certain places. It'd definitely be colder.
Yeah. So I don't know how cold it actually was.
So does
but-
this guy have a refrigeration cycle and a
Yeah.
filtering cycle on it or something? Okay. So you don't have to change the water very often. Or ever, maybe.
Like once a month, you. I don't know if you have to change the water, but you change the filter.
Okay. Yeah, that's probably it. So it probably works the same way as a pool. We don't change the pool water. We just have a filter. Well, I guess there's a filter in chemicals. You probably don't want chlorine. Yeah. Do you guys mix any like Epsom salts or sulfurs or whatever? So this guy I was listening to said he does some sort of like that hot spring mixture where there's like a sulfur tint to it. And I don't remember exactly what he was doing, but it made me think of like, you know, the hot springs in Colorado where you can jump in, but you come out stinky. Yeah, I don't know. So that'd be an interesting one. Okay, so 2 weeks in, I'm gonna ask you for your journey 6 months out or something. So I have to put a note in here. Andy, when you listen to this again, put a note in there to to schedule a podcast with Kate one more time. Okay, so any other interesting things you guys are doing, a little extra? You got the sauna, you got the cold. I love those. We've got a little teeny sauna thing. It's like a one person. It just like you put a shell over yourself and you can lay in it. And I just don't have I'm not patient enough for that. Like my wife will go in it for like 20 minutes. I'm like, I'm too jittery. Give me a 3-minute plunge. I think I could do that.
Yeah. So I do like 2 minutes in the sauna, and we have like a roller ball, so I will roll, and that makes me sweat more. So I feel like I'm doing something the whole time.
Yeah. Oh, I like that. So this one, the one we've got, I guess you could, but it would be like your head is like a coffin with your head like Or that, the magician guy who would saw the lady in half.
Yeah.
Like your feet are sticking out and your head is sticking out. In
think
this
I've seen
case,
those.
your feet are not sticking out, but your head is.
Okay.
And so it's, I think it was a Costco buy too. We're like, yeah, we'll give it a shot and see what it is. We've got a lot of weird things at my house that we've given a go. She's got this one thing that is pretty cool, but I couldn't do it. You step on it and then it starts to vibrate. And so it's got like, I don't know, it's just like a shaker, but it shakes you so much that I had to run to the bathroom. But it was that intense. And then I got a little knee issue and it was shaking too much that my knee was like, the cartilage was hitting. I'm like, yeah, I can't do this thing. She loves it, but
Okay.
yeah, not for me.
We don't have that one.
Yeah. You can come over and try it. Like,
Okay.
I hate this thing. She loves it. So we also have a rebounder. So we do a lot of,
like a little trampoline.
yeah, just bounce a little bit. So they talk about like your lymph nodes being flushed. And so one way is to exercise, or you can jump on a rebounder for like 3 minutes a day.
Okay.
It'd be interesting to come up with all of these habits that they say you can do. And they only take 3 minutes a piece, but you stick them all together. And now you've got like 6 hours of...
Well, one that has been really effective for me is meditation.
Ooh, yeah, tell me about it.
Which it feels like I'm just taking a nap, but I'm not. Like I have like a lot of things that I have learned to do and
So what does it do? So tell me, so is it like sit down and breathe, or is it like lay down, or how does it start? Give me an idea what this looks like.
you could do either one. I like to lay down, but like...
I would fall asleep.
Yeah, sometimes I do, and I track it with my Whoop too, and it tells me, like, even when I feel like I'm awake for the whole time, that I'm in like light sleep. Sometimes I'm in REM sleep. Yeah. And so I don't know. I feel like that gives me a little...
No, those are good. I would say that if I could give anybody like, hey, I have no time for anything whatsoever, ever, breathe. Just take 5 minutes to breathe deep. You can do the old trick of, it's the box of 4 seconds of everything, 4 seconds in, 4 second hold, 4 second out, 4 second hold, 4 second, right? Just do that. It is weird. It does calm you down. Totally. So do you follow is it like a self-guided meditation at all, or is it just silence?
It's silence, and I just have things that I try to think about, like words.
Okay.
That I try to meditate on, I guess. Yeah. And I do try to like notice my breath and follow my breath, things like that.
Okay.
I don't know.
So here's what I came up with. So I didn't really have much guidance, but this is similar to what you're doing, but yours is more fancy. So I read in this book, there's a really good book series that I like called Wheel of Time. You ever heard of that one? Yeah, it's a fantasy book. But in there, in order to embrace the void, the nothing, imagine a candle with a flame, right? And then just try to focus on the candle and the flame. And it is fascinating to like, how long can I keep the candle and the flame in my head without thinking about anything else?
Yeah,
and then anytime anything comes up, you throw it into the flame to burn it. Oh. I suck. I think I can make it like 10 seconds before something else comes into my head. So I think there is power in focus. And whatever it is, focus on that thing and intentionally focus on it.
Totally.
Very tough. Yeah. There was a meme that my kid sent me because he saw me doing the meditation. I think it was maybe Evan, but anyway, it's like 30 seconds of meditation, and it just has this space of like, oh, I can't do it. And then 20 minutes of meditation, and it had He-Man doing a laser out his like third eye, like shooting something out. I'm like, yeah, I can't do 20 minutes of meditation. But I do think that is powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somehow it helps. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I think it's calming you down, right? It's
totally.
It's like the book that I mentioned that my buddy gave me, the Stopping the Noise in Your Head. It just gives you tools to help you affect the inside world, right?
And I feel like it balances kind of, I can like go harder here, and then I can go
easy,
completely easy. I'd take myself out of it there.
Right. Yeah,
adds that balance.
No, that is great. Okay, let me go through some of these questions. This is good stuff. Guys, if you have questions about sauna or cold, Kate and Matt are your answers, or your local experts. Okay, so I'm going to run through a couple questions. If any of them are like, I don't want to answer that, you can say pass. It's like being in the hot seat. So let's see. We know what led you to CrossFit Garage, your husband. So thank you, Matt. What was your first job?
Cashier at a grocery store.
Oh, I love it. I think everyone rolled on that one. What did you learn at that job?
I guess I learned I'm very bad at math. My drawer was never
balanced.
Right, yeah. I'm like, I swear I'm not stealing. I'm just really bad at math.
Yeah, so I didn't realize I was a bag boy first and then a cashier. I didn't realize they tracked it and cashed you out. And not that I was cheating, but like pennies and dimes and whatever.
Yeah.
And like, hey, you're like $6 off. I'm like, I don't know, that's not bad for like 8 hours at the register.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, and this is back in like, well, for me back in the day, it was like people went to the grocery store with cash.
Right.
And then they would give you weird cash thinking that it was adding up correctly. And you're like, I think if you just didn't give me the dime, I could make better change for you. But you gave me weird money.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was good. I think the thing that I learned was, this is tough. I better go to college because this is a hard way to make a life.
Totally.
Yeah, because you're at the grocery store and then you buy lunch with the money that they just paid you, and you're like, I just spent 2 hours.
Broke even.
Yeah,
Yep.
it was so bad. So what was something your parents or grandparents taught you that you find super valuable now?
Ooh.
Or did not be super valuable? Just something that you can hear, or maybe even you hear yourself saying it and you're like, oh no, I am my mom.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, okay, we'll pass on that. We'll come back to it. Let's see. Is there something that you feel like coming here and doing CrossFit with us in the group that you feel like you've been able to get back in your life, either an activity or a confidence or whatever? Is there anything that you feel like, okay, this has really done this for me? Like marathon running. You think you could go run a half marathon and crush that?
I guess I don't
Half
want to
marathon's a
now.
lot, I know.
I don't know why I wanted to do that so badly before, and I really wanted to run a full marathon. I really don't want to now.
It's somebody else's goal, and they gave you their goal because
Yeah.
you're like, I don't have my own goal, right?
Yeah.
No, I totally get it. I have it on my list. I'm like, I definitely don't want to run a marathon, but I kind of do just to check it off. But like, why?
Guess, yeah.
I don't know. So what about like going out with the family on hikes or I don't know, anything?
Oh, totally, yeah. And I feel like CrossFit has given me a lot of personal power, just the feeling of like, I feel like I can do this, and I didn't feel like I could do it before. And it's not even big things, it's like stupid little things.
Well, I think that's the marvelous thing is you can live normal day, everyday life. Like as a 50-year-old guy, I will do stuff and people will look at me like, oh, I wouldn't do that. You're going to hurt yourself. And I'm like, this is definitely not going to hurt me. I do more at the gym, right?
Yeah.
And so I think if I can boil it down, it lets me live my normal life even better, right? Because I can. It's functional movements. Yeah, I can do this stuff. What has been a high-low buffalo, something interesting or whatever, or just pick one of them, something at the gym that you've been like, oh, I'm super proud about this one. I mean, double unders is pretty cool. Anything else like that?
The pull-up was exciting to get
pretty
that,
cool, yeah.
and it took me the longest time to figure out kipping.
Yeah.
And I still don't really feel like I have it, but I have it more than I did.
It takes a while to practice it, but we should always, so we used to tell people, and we would help them get their kipping pull-ups before we got them a pull-up. Don't do that because you want to have enough shoulder strength to come down easy. Mm-hmm. So that swing in the kip, the gymnastics of it.
Yeah. So, yeah, I remember coming in thinking, like, what are they doing? How? I can't do that with my body. And now I kind of can.
Yeah.
So that's cool. Same with double unders. Like, what is that?
So that's the cool neurological adaptation. We are teaching our mind and our body to connect in a way that we're like, oh, I'm an old dog learning new tricks. Me, you're a young dog. You're a young cat. I don't know. You're young learning new tricks. I am an old guy that can do these things. And it makes me feel like, wow, I've put together a piece of the puzzle that
I never knew I wanted to. I never thought I could. Yeah.
It's fascinating to see us. I always say that feebleness is chasing us down. If we don't fight it, it's going to win. I mean, the inevitable trail of everybody is to right? So this, I stole someone's picture on, Instagram, Facebook, it was one of them. But it was, both these guys are 84, and there was this dude that was like buff, and then there was the guy in the wheelchair. I'm like, yeah, which one do you want to be? Yeah, and it starts now. And it doesn't, if you've never done anything, so if you're out there listening, you're thinking, well, I haven't done anything. I don't have a story of running 10 miles a day at 1,000 calories or whatever. It doesn't matter. You just start, and you will put that progress on you. What would you tell somebody that's like in that situation? Hey, I haven't done anything, and I'm nervous, I'm afraid, I don't know. Can you start doing CrossFit with no fitness at all?
Oh, totally. I think everybody should do CrossFit, and I feel like I'm a little annoying about it. My friends are like, no way. And I'm like, I was there too. And they're like, no, Kate, like you're so whatever, you're so Kate. But I started from the bottom. I couldn't do anything. I used running to kind of like beat myself up. Like I can run. And so I'm going to run until I throw up or whatever. And it led me here. But I would also tell them that something that I feel like took me a long way from the beginning to where I am now is the thought of impossible to possible to inevitable. So at first, anything worth doing that's hard starts out impossible. Can't do it. But then you start trying some things until it becomes possible. Like, oh, maybe I could do a double under because now I've started doing singles and I can do 50 singles or whatever. I can do 100 singles and it starts to become possible. And then it keeps showing up and it's possible and it kind of happens until it's inevitable. You can do it every time and then you can pick a new goal that's impossible. And
that's the dedication, the daily investment. And I hear you, and I wish people would do that. Now, I will give this to you and your friends. So, Kate's friends, she's going to have this podcast come out and send it to you. And here is my gift to you. You guys talk to each other, pick a day and time that you would like to have your own CrossFit class. And I will create the Kate's Friends class or session. And we will do it all together. And it'll just be you guys. So yeah, you let me know, you let them know, and I will give that to you so they can experience it to see. It's fascinating. The years we've been doing this, when people say, I need to go get fit before I do CrossFit. I'm like, no. This is a fitness program, a conditioning program, and it just happens to get you there a little bit quicker than anything else because we're crossing things. Now, it will not make you, like my son wants to be big and bulky. And it's not going to make you big and bulky because it's not hypertrophy. It also won't give you the most impressive marathon time because we're also lifting weights and we're going to add strength to you. So it's cross-domain fitness, right? So anyway, Kate's Friends, I'm here for you. You have my guarantee. If you want it and you can set it up or tell me the time, if y'all can pick it, I will make it happen. Even if it's not me, I'll get one of my coaches to do it.
I feel like a better example would be I can't run a mile. Okay, but can you run half a mile or can you run a quarter mile? Start with, can you run down the road? And then
I use mailboxes.
Right. Just you run from one mailbox to the other.
Pick 5 mailboxes. Right. And then tomorrow do 6.
Right. And it goes from, it's impossible, I cannot run a half marathon to I just did it.
Yeah. So I'm interested, so yes to that guys, this is huge advice, ladies, everybody, huge advice. Impossible to improbable.
Impossible to possible to inevitable.
That's exactly it. And it's time and attention to it. The other is that guy I was mentioning, I think it's Kevin English or Mark English or something English, but he talks about the stories yourself. I can't run a mile. He's like, take a deep breath and then change can't to can and make it a question. I can run a mile? Do the inflection of, so now you're questioning it. Take another deep breath and let it out. And then say it with authority. I can run a mile, right? And so you're changing the story in your head. Once the story's changing, then you can start on the path of, anybody can run a mile. You just have to actually practice it. Literally. And totally. People don't think they can. Yeah, right. So that's beautiful advice. Which maybe, so the next question is, if you can put if we had that billboard right there and you could put any message to the world up there, what would you put up? Maybe that one, it could be anything else. It doesn't have to be health and fitness. It could be anything. What message would you want everyone on 92 to see? Okay,
so it could be impossible to possible to inevitable.
I do love that.
Yeah. But I also like the whole idea of just showing up every day or something every day.
Yeah.
Or small efforts every day, seed or something. Did you plant the seed? Did you do a small effort?
Well, those are those things when people talk about SMART goals. So you have a big grandiose goal, but then you break it into subsets, and then you create these specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, time-bound, right? And those little things get you there, the small wins. This is why when people try to get out of debt, the debt avalanche method is actually the best mathematical method. You take the worst debt and you pay it off because that's going to have the best benefit, the percentages you pay, right? But Dave Ramsey has proven time and time again that the debt snowball, miniature wins, actually has more people finish it. So which one's better? The one that people finish. So he's pay the smallest one off and then move that money to the next one because that small win psychologically has more effect than the mathematical one. Emotions win over logic every time. We're emotional beings, right? Logic is great, but obviously the world is run by emotion. But okay, so I like those. So you have 2 messages.
I have another too.
Oh, we have 3. I love it. Yeah.
I think that slowing down can help you speed up. And I feel like a lot of people won't go there. Like they won't slow down. And so they feel bad and run down and tired. And it's like, then they're pushing more into it. But I don't know.
I know. I'm with that one. So I have this, the movie Cars.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Have I told you this one before? You got to turn right to go left. And he's like, you got to turn right to go left. That makes no sense. Right. Sometimes you need to slow down to go faster. Or there's a movie that literally uses it, Days of Thunder, when Tom Cruise is going around and he's like, look, go a little bit slower and you'll end up going faster. And he gets all pissed off, but he doesn't wear out the tires. And that's exactly it. You wear yourself out. Take a deep breath. Meditate. Slow down. It actually might make you faster.
Totally.
Yeah. This morning in the car, Evie is driving to school now, so it's a little bit nerve-wracking. And we're backing out of the garage, which is scary as well because it's a tight fit with a truck. So I'm always nervous she's going to rip a mirror off. Anyway, she backs up. We're making the turn to then go down the driveway correctly. And I was like, hey, put it in park. She was just gabbing about something. I'm like, we are about to get on the road where there's literally life and death in here. I want you to breathe. She's like, oh, not this. I made her do the box, 4 seconds of everything, right? 4 times. I mean, just breathe. We need to slow down so that we can get to school faster because we won't have a wreck. She's like, All right. So are there any books or podcasts that you listen to or recommend out?
I don't really listen to podcasts.
Except for this one.
Yeah, right, this one.
Thank you.
And I read Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. Have you read that?
I have it in my phone. It's up. Or my Audible.
It's
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah.
And Born to Run. I can't
yeah.
remember who wrote it, but it's so good.
Is it the guy with he did like the huge distances, right?
It's like about these indigenous people
That's
who
it.
live in the mountains and they run. They just run and run and run and run and run. And they had like a race and they invited Scott Jurek, who's like a
Big runner.
amazing runner. I don't know, long distance runner. And it was, I don't know, it's really well written, but it is what led me to the 10 miles a day. So I don't know
Somebody
if I
else's goal,
recommend it. Yeah, but it was.
No,
really
recommend
good.
it, but then
Okay.
also don't add in the 10 miles a day and 1,000 calories. Don't do that part.
Right. Don't go
Those
that
are
far.
good.
I mean, unless it's somebody else, good for somebody else. I don't know.
I like that.
But yeah. Do
Those
you
are
want
good.
me to tell you about my? Or are we?
Yeah, no, go ahead and get another story. Bring it on. This is good stuff.
Okay. Well, I just want to say, I guess that when I was going the 5 days a week, I did it for like 10 months until I like kind of blew up and
Yeah.
I felt like I can't do CrossFit anymore. I don't like it. I can't do it. I can't do anything that's timed. I can't do anything that people are watching. I need to be by myself, doing nothing or like slowing down. I went to Lifetime for 2 months and like walked on the treadmill, did like really boring stuff. And I started doing like the CrossFit that they do there. And then I came back here and I did 4 days a week. It was much better, much more manageable.
Yeah.
And
Know
then,
your body and know yourself. Yeah. Not everybody's prescription is the same prescription. Yeah, for sure.
And I still went to Lifetime again the next summer. But I wanted to share my CrossFit dream that I had. And it was during the 5 days a week. And it was so exciting. Like, it was so fun. I really liked doing it, even though it wasn't like it wasn't sustainable for me.
Yeah.
But I had this dream that I was in Illinois and it was almost CrossFit time. It's like the morning. Am I gonna like be a man and go to CrossFit or am I gonna be a wuss and sleep in? Right. So I'm like, no, it's fine. I'm in Illinois, but I'm just gonna drive to the nearest box and do my thing, cross it off and feel great about myself. There's gotta be one nearby at least. And so I'm driving and in the road, there's all these kids. And it looks like they're doing like a parade or like a protest. They got signs. And so I'm slowing down and I'm like, dang, I'm going to miss CrossFit. Like there's so many kids. And I'm going like 2 miles an hour and I could feel the wheel of the car rise up over a foot.
Oh, no.
And I could see a kid grab their foot and I roll the window down and I said, get out of the road. I have to get to CrossFit. And then I woke up. And I knew I had taken it too far.
Too far, yeah.
And
Man, that's awesome that your brain is talking to you. Were you meditating back then? I'm curious
I
if that's
don't
like
know.
it's like not many people are that in tune with themselves that their brain says, hey, I need to talk to you and slow you down, right? Yeah, though that is awesome. So this is going to be sacrilegious to everyone who is like way into CrossFit. Some days, I don't actually look at the clock. Like, whatever. She's like, 3, 2, 1, go. And I'm like, I'm just going to, it's, what did you call it? An audit day. I'm just here to move and whatever.
Right.
So if it's Danny, she usually gives me the eyes. If it's Jamie, she usually says, come on. I'm like, today's my move day. But it's legit. Some days you just need to so I do try to shoot for 5 days a week, knowing that somewhere in there, life is going to throw a wrench in there. And I usually make it 4. I'm okay with that. Yeah.
Nice.
And even like now, I just come in 3 days a week because I take my daughter to soccer Tuesday and Thursday. Like, whatever, I'll just run. I hate running, but I just don't have enough time in the day. But I can put it in there somewhere. The idea is move.
Totally.
Is jogging functional? I don't know if there's anything else more functional than jogging or walking. I mean, that is literally what we're made to do. So, no, that is awesome. I'm glad you listened to yourself. I'm glad you're back. No, I think it was also awesome, too. Hey, the summer is different. I got kids. You went to the bigger gym that has a kid area. We don't have that. I love that. I'm like, great, use it. Be flexible in your world. We are not so stuck on ourselves to think we are the only answer. We're an answer. And it's not for everybody. If you like coaching, mentoring, and accountability, we're going to help you. If you just want a place to do your own thing and put earbuds in, man, we're not a good place for you.
That's not it, yeah.
Or if you want to go to the CrossFit Games, we're going to shy away from that. Yes, it is true. We did push really hard for the first 5 years to get everyone to go to the games. Oops, that is just not sustainable. Many of the people like Rich Froning and the other guys I listen to on their podcast, I can't think of their names. They will tell you probably the worst thing I ever did was push so hard to try to go to the games. I am broken because of it. CrossFit still works. I still do CrossFit. I just don't do that sort of stuff. I'm like, good on you.
Yeah. I like just the CrossFit, just the normal CrossFit over time. I love it.
Yeah, that's good. So I think you've got a very healthy mindset on that. So guys, and Kate's friends especially, if you're looking for a place to build a firm foundation in fitness, food, and finances, here we are. We're really, for the most part, it's fitness. We do have some food options with Coach Laura, or you can get some chickens and we'll help you raise them. But if you want finances, you want Vincent Financial with Aaron and Matt, that's where you want to go. We will direct you there. But if you're going to live a long time, then you want to have money. So make sure you have those. Kate's buddies, I will have a class just for you. So you guys round it up, figure out when you want to come in. I will even throw you guys the same, I don't know when these episodes will come together, but I accidentally just had a brain, I threw out a challenge. I said, look, if you will come in, I'll offer it to your friends. If you will come into the gym 5 days a week, and log yourself and listen to the coach, which means don't actually work out 5 days a week. Like maybe today's a move day, but if you come 5 days a week for an entire year and you're not fitter than you were at the start, a year later, I will return your money doubled.
Oh, dang.
I mean, but...
Right, of course they will.
I mean...
in like a month.
It's a no-brainer. It's going to work.
Right,
There's no way I would lose. I would return it 10 times over because it's not going to fail. It is always going to work.
Totally.
Even just walking in and listening.
Yeah.
They're going to tell you, hey, you should probably just do lighter.
Yeah. It's weird how it works. You just walk in and...
they take you through it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. All right, guys. Hey, this has been very fun. Sorry it took so long for me to get this done, but I think you guys are going to learn a lot. If you have questions on cold plunge or sauna, Kate's the one to go to. So if you're here in the gym, ask. If you're around here local, again, you can find me find us on any of the socials, our website, CrossFitGarage.com. If you're looking for a great place for mobility and therapy, MyoFit with Alex is here as well. You guys have a great time. Thank you for listening. Take care.